Hello everybody, Ranger John here and here with Huntsville State Park, and I want to thank you for coming back to our navigational series. We've covered how to read a map, how to use a compass. We've even talked about how to orientate your map, move around obstacles, and even use your pacing to measure your distance. Well, today we're going to talk about one of mankind's biggest fears, and that is being lost. I don't know about y'all, but I've had my share of moments running through the woods trying to look for any type of landmark that might be familiar and let me know I'm on the right trail. I want to share with you three things about being lost. First off, prevention. The other is what you should do if you find yourself lost. And third, we're going to be covering a skill called triangulation, which is you can use visual landmarks or use your compass to find out where you are on the map. So if you ever don't want to find yourself lost, the best way is to first prevent it. Now you've already taken a major step towards that. By participating in this series, learning how to read a map properly, how to use your compass, how to orientate your map for the trails, you've already bettered your knowledge, your skills, and your tools to help prevent you from ever being lost. You can also do things like checking in through social media. This way, if you ever find yourself lost and you've been out there for a while, people will know where you are, and if you let them know when you're supposed to be out, they can check in on you as well. You can also make sure to stick to well-marked trails and terrain that's fairly easy to navigate, especially if it's your first time being in that environment. If you're at a park for the very first time, especially in maybe a system that you are unfamiliar with, you don't want to challenge yourself with the most difficult of terrain. If you're headed into the backcountry for camping, you can even check in with park rangers, and if you have a map of where you plan on being, let them know. It's also a good idea to check out with them as well, because a lot of park rangers in more the backcountry area, if you check in and you don't check out with them, they're going to be sending in rescuers for you. So it's always good to let them know when you head out of there. Now, of course, if you ever do find yourself lost, allow me to give you some comforting words from one of my favorite authors, Douglas Adams, and that is, don't panic. Best advice I could give is that if you find yourself lost, the last thing you want to do while you're feeling anxious and panic is to be running around wearing your body out and quite possibly putting you in a worse situation. So I always recommend the first thing you should do if you find yourself lost, take your day pack off, sit down, enjoy a snack, maybe some water, allow your mind, your body to calm down. Then you can take your map out, start looking at where was the last place you knew you were. You can also use your compass to try and figure out what trail you might be on, and then begin to develop a plan. You can either choose to possibly go back to more familiar territory or where the last place you knew you were, or if you know, well, start planning where you might be on the map and determine what should be around the next corner that can confirm where you're at. But just anytime you find yourself lost, allow yourself the time to take your pack off, get that weight off your shoulders, sit down, relax, deep breath, calm yourself, and that way you can develop a plan. Now, if you do find yourself lost and you're traveling with a group, the best advice is to stay put. If you're traveling with guides, they know where to look for you. So if you wandered down the wrong path and they go searching for you down the right one you're supposed to be on and they don't find you, and you come running back down that path and they go looking for you in that one, they're more than likely not going to come back looking for you. So you always want to make sure you stay put so you're not chasing around. Even with a group of friends, they'll put out a party and they'll come looking for you, and again, you don't want to be missing them as you're out and about. If you're not traveling with a group of friends and you're lost on a trail, you want to make sure to stay on that trail. Okay, if you got yourself lost on a trail, you're going to have even more difficult just charging right through the woods. Also, we want to remember our leave no trace principles, and the second one is to always stay on durable surfaces. So we talked about some of the best ways to battle being lost is first off prevention. Practice what you've learned in this video series. Work with the tools to help keep you from being lost. Communication can also be important. checking in on social media, checking in with park rangers or staff to let them know where you're going to be. That is going to help you out in case you get lost as well. They know where to come find you. The other thing is, if you find yourself lost, don't panic. Allow your mind, your body to calm down, get some snacks, go through your map and compass work to try and determine where you're at. If you're with a group of people, more than likely they're going to come looking for you, and you don't want to be running around them, so best is to stay put. If you must wander out, make sure to stay on your trail near landmarks. That way you can help find your way out easier and not run deeper into the woods. Next, we're going to go over a more advanced skill called triangulation. Now, there's visual triangulation, which tends to work in a smaller area. You locate 3 landmarks that you can see and identify on a map, and looking at where those landmarks are to you, you're going to have a good idea where you're located at. Now, if you're in a much bigger area and those landmarks are further apart, using your compass to get a bearing off those landmarks is going to narrow down where you are on the map and help you out there. So we're going to practice triangulation now. All right, so we're going to be out here practicing triangulation. Now, triangulation is going to be using 3 points, like a triangle, to help us locate where we are. Now, I've got 3 points out here. Now, these are 3 points that we can locate on our map. So I see out here in front of me, I've got the Triple C Lodge behind the trees there. I've got the swimming platform. And then over behind these leaves, I can see the boathouse. So I can look at my map and identify the Triple C building, the swimming platform, and the boathouse. So one way you can practice visual triangulation is that we see those points from left to right. We have the Triple C Lodge, the platform, and the boathouse. So if I hold my map and orientate it so that I see from left to right the lodge, the swimming platform, and the boathouse, I can see that I'm across the water from it. I've got to be over in this area here. So for a smaller area, visual triangulation is one of the easier ways to do it. But if we want to practice with our compass, what we want to do is we want to take a bearing off of those 3 marks there. So what I want to do is pull my compass out, and like in our video on how to use a compass, we're going to be looking at how to take a bearing. So I'm going to aim my arrow of direction at the Triple C Lodge, and now I'm going to rotate the bezel, and what I'm looking for is to put red Fred in the shed, get that magnetic arrow inside the orientating arrow there, and then I'm going to look at the bearing up here, which is at about 242. And so on my map here, I'm going to make a note. The Triple C Lodge is at 242 bearing from where I stand. Now, we're going to do the same thing for the swimming platform. Again, arrow of direction at the swimming platform. And I'm going to rotate red Fred in the shed. Not too much of a difference there, but it's coming 250, let's say about 252 for that one. So I'm going to make note that the swimming platform is 252 from where I'm standing. Then finally, we're going to go over here to the boathouse, which I can see just past this group of leaves here. Again, arrow of direction aimed at the boathouse. Rotate. So red Fred is in the shed. Let's see. All right. It's about 302. So I'm going to make note that that is at 302 to the boathouse. Now you want to try and find an area where you're not going to move, because if I have to find myself shifting to try and find it, it's going to affect the way the bearing comes out. Now I'm going to find a place where I can sit down with a flat surface and measure this out. Okay, so we have our bearings to the Triple C Lodge, the swim platform, and the boathouse. We know where those are located on our map. Now the way we use those bearings on here is we're going to take our compass and we're going to first go off from the Triple C Lodge. So we got that bearing at 242 from where we were standing. So we're going to set the compass and line up 242 with our arrow of direction. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put the corner of our base plate right on top of the Triple C Lodge. Now, I'm going to rotate the compass, but I'm going to use that as my pivot point. So the base plate's going to move, except for right there where it is at the Triple C Lodge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my orientating arrow, that's the shed right there on the bezel, with north on the map. Now remember earlier I talked about whenever our compass is on the map, we ignore Fred. Okay, the magnetic needle that's in there, we don't care where Fred's pointing, we're ignoring him. We're going to put the corner of the base plate on the lodge where we took our bearing. We're going to rotate on that point to line up the orientating arrow, which is the shed, with north on the map. Once we're there, we're going to draw a line from the lodge all along the base plate there. So I've got a little line right across. Now we're going to do the same thing with the swimming platform, which I had at 252. So we're going to rotate that, 252. Again, corner of my base plate on the platform I took the bearing from, rotating with that as the pivot point. So we line up the orientating arrow with north on the map, and we'll draw a line along the base plate as well. Now for my final point, it's going to be the boathouse, and we had that at 302. And so again, I'm going to put corner of my compass on the boathouse, rotating it, so our orientating arrow is north on the map, and we'll draw a line right down there. Okay, so that has given us, now sometimes you might get a point where all three lines cross at one point, and that is wonderful. Some other times you do get a bit of a triangle like I have here, and I talked about the importance of measuring from one point, because if you do find yourself wandering around, this is very much what could happen. Now of course, as much as we do have a triangle there, that is a small area compared to the rest of the map. So we've narrowed down where we are significantly. And we can also look at this and say, okay, well, there's a little corner here that's in the water. Well, I know I wasn't there. I know I was at the edge of the water. I wasn't near any type of road or on a road, so I can start to eliminate things that are around. And that's going to narrow down my location a lot easier. And then this will allow me to make a plan. So if I'm somewhere in this area, I can identify on the map that we have a road here. So if I head east from my location, I should encounter a road. I know west was water because that's where I stood. But to the east is going to be a road. Once I have hit that road, then I now have an idea where I'm at and can find myself back home. So this is how you use triangulation, using your compass and landmarks. So I know triangulation can be a bit more of an advanced skill and takes time to practice it. And you know where a great place to practice triangulation is? That's right, at your local state park. So that now you can head out to your local state park, make sure to pick up one of their maps, bring your compass, and practice triangulation, practice your navigational skills, look for how to read their maps, and practice your compass use. And we look forward to seeing you out here at our state parks. Y'all take care.